All right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church. Congregation, come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, y'all. We're going to get right into this one, okay? This is about the Times Square attacks that keep happening uh, from these migrants. And this one is about, I just got the name of the 15-year-old who did the shootings. And it's shootings in plural. And he involved in some other stuff. But I'm about to get into it with y'all right now and give y'all my take on it. All right. Okay, so this young man, he's 15 years old. First, I didn't have a name, but his name is Jesus Alejandro Rivas Figueroa. And we say Figaro, but I'm gonna say Figueroa, right? To try to be proper about his last name. Jesus Alejandro Rivas Figueroa. He's the 15-year-old who shot at the female security guard in Times Square, but ended up hitting a Brazilian tourist who was here. Female, shot in the leg, non-life threatening injury, and she's probably, recovered and is okay, right? But she probably will, walk with crutches and a limp for a while. And, the worst it could be is that she always end up walking with a limp and it affects her, for the rest of her life. Uh, I'm definitely sure it caused some trauma, right? Being a tourist here and having that situation just break out, on her like that, right? From this 15-year-old. This is a 15-year-old, okay? So this is what we got to understand and stuff. And this is a migrant. This is a migrant who has not become a U.S. citizen here, no legal status, under the guise of seeking asylum, which is the excuse they're making for, running these immigrants through as fast as they're running. They keep crying asylum. They seeking asylum, so this is giving them the okay to just run them through the system. But what the biggest problem is that really they giving them legal status and benefits as a U.S. citizens before they vet them. That is the problem. The lack of vetting. Like everybody is want to talk about this bill, but this bill didn't have no way to vet them out. Like really vet them out. And the bill didn't specify like the mandatory. It should be, look, in this bill that they was trying to do, this border bill, whatever they was talking about, immigration reform. Listen, let me tell you something that was the most important thing they should have had. What they should have had is they should have had a mandatory amount of training before they released into other cities. They should have found somewhere where legal U.S. citizens could vet them out and put them through a process that would ensure that they were going to be productive and safe citizens of the United States, right? That they deserve the U.S. citizenship. U.S. citizenship should stand for something, and it doesn't anymore. It just stands for population. It's just a number. It's almost like going into prison, right? But what they doing is they making it a prison for us as United citizens, right? United States citizens. They making it us who are being imprisoned by the immigration and the lack of immigration laws that are in place to ensure that these people come over are really asylum seekers, right? Come on now, this is street church. We're gonna lay it all out. We're being in prison. We're treated like, what I'm saying, second class citizens. We're treated like we're in a prison camp with other people who are the guards, right? But they evil guards. And that's what these immigrants are becoming towards US citizens. Evil uh prison guards who got us in prison and they oppressing us. That's what this is like. And it's going to get worse, and it's going to start spreading all over the United States because they trying to bring them into as many cities as possible. And let me tell you something else. It's finna get bad because they keep bringing these young Venezuelan criminal-minded kids. And man, they not finna. These other young gangbangers in cities like California, they gonna see what's up. They gonna get tired of seeing them doing that, being the problem, bringing the heat on them, right? Which is the police, 12, right? Because that kind of trouble bring 12, and they gonna start having shootouts with these young Venezuelan kids. And these young Venezuelan kids that grew up in that gang environment, so they ready for it. Now, here's another question. Ask yourself this. This is a 15-year-old who had a crew with him. He's from Venezuela. He had a crew from Venezuela. Come on, they know each other. They came here together. They might have not came and got in the border at the same time. He been here since the last fall, which was in the fall of 2023. The crew get here, the ones he can trust. They finally meet up. Destination is New York. They all get to New York and they start going on a crime spree. They all start going on a crime spree. This was planned. This was plotted. So think about what else can be planned from the adults. This is just the kids. Imagine what the adult immigrants has got planned, who are involved in ideologies and politics. He was 15. He had another 15-year-old with him and another 16-year-old. When the two police officers got attacked before this incident with him shooting in the Times Square, there were like probably 13 of them. They done got 7 out of the 8, but it was more. They were just standing around seeing if they was going to be needed or not to get that, get their kicks in and stuff. But it was more than that. So this is a crew that done came through the border. This is a crew. This is a Venezuelan crew. Probably belonged to some gang in Venezuela. And they came here. And they came here to rob and do whatever they was going to do. Because they think it's like that. Because they they see the influence of rap music. And they think that that's how we live here, all live here. Like they say on the streets, they think it's sweet. And that's why they're here. And he's 15 years old. Look how deep this gets. Not only did he do that shooting, that's what got him caught and took him down, right? But before the before he did the shooting in Times Square, he was already a suspect in an armed robbery that took place in the Bronx. He been in Manhattan, so he in the Times Square doing what he did, and he felt comfortable at 15 years old with pulling out a gun and gunning somebody down. And he was trying to shoot the security guard, and she was a female security guard, but he hit the Brazilian woman. And then he shot at the officer while he was trying to flee the scene. 15. So he pulled out a big gun, big caliber handgun, and got the busting like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. 15. With a crew, right? He doing armed robberies with. And he had another 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. They was trying to rob a JD Sports in the Times Square. A month before that, he was involved in a um, second shooting in Times Square the month before. Come on now. Come on now. What we doing here? What we doing here? So we listen. They got to stop just saying it's a crisis. They got to stop trying to blame it on a bill, something that we need done. We already have close to 10 million people here. Why not just shut the border completely down? Like completely. And work on allocating the almost 10 million immigrants that have already migrated to this country. Why don't we just shut the border down for like 5 years? That's what it should be. You should only be able to allow 250,000 people every 5 years, every 5 to 7 years. Quarter million people every 5 to 7 years. Right now you got almost 10 million people, and that's a lot of people. Biden, listen, Biden administration, Republicans in Congress, Democrats in Congress, Democrats and Republicans in the House, in the Senate, whatever you want to do. Even, listen, local, state, and federal government, whoever y'all are, whoever has the power or the influence, right, to solve this. Listen to what I'm saying. You have 8 million people in here. That's a lot of people to be helping. Don't you think you did enough good? Don't you think you helped people with enough asylum? Okay? Why don't you just allocate those people, vet those people, check those people, double check those people, triple check those people, make sure that they want to come to this country to abide by the laws of the United States of America and be good and productive citizens here. 8 million people is a lot of people to work with. So why don't you just completely shut it down for the next 5 to 7 years and deal with the 8 that you got, the 8 million, close to 10 million people you got. But you know what? As I'm saying that's too much like right. Because why do you need to give asylum to any more people? You helping a lot of people. And you're doing it while we're in 34, 32, $34 trillion debt. Don't you think not having to give these people welfare or, help for food or none of this, don't you think shutting the border down completely right now and just dealing with the 8 to almost 10 million people you got will be the wisest thing to do, because you get the economy back on track, and then the next 5 to 7 years you could help some more people. If it's really indeed what you're trying to do is help people, you would help them more by allocating them and vetting them and getting it down to a sensible number, because maybe 3 million of these people you don't need to help. You need to send them back. You need to deport them because they're not right. They're not fit to be United States citizens. But you could better do that if you shut it down now, and you ain't got to deal with some more, 5,000 more, 8,000 more, 10,000 more. So don't tell me you want to do right, because that's a lot of people that you've already let in over 3 years. You've done this. So how many more do you need to help? That's a lot of people. 8 million is 2 or 3 cities. If you want to get small cities, you probably got like 8 million people is like 10 cities, 10 or 12 cities, even 15. We could say 20 cities. 8 million people is 20 cities. You're helping 20 cities worth of people. And you won't stop. Just shut it down and help the 8 million or the close to 10 million people. Like I said, just shut the border all the way down, close it, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, the economy gets better. Why are you keeping it open? Why is there so many people wanting to keep it open? Want to keep a certain number coming in day by day? Doesn't make any sense. If you let that many people in, it's going to be to where you won't have your job, your authority, your social standing in America will lose its value. Your ability to lead, I'm talking about the Biden administration, I'm talking about the local, state, and federal governments, the body of people in charge. All of y'all status and value is depleting. You're letting enough people in where they can commit a coup. It's already enough of them to commit a coup. What if all of these people, 8 million people, was from the same country? Or just even 2 million? That's an army. 1 million could give you a problem, could take certain parts of the United States. There are already cities that have nationality in it, excuse me, right? Like Dearborn, where they can just turn against this government and be armed in those cities because nobody is watching or paying no attention to. Dearborn in particular. They could be armed right now, have enough weapons where they could probably take over Michigan with the right skill set, the right training at the right time. They could just take over Michigan because there's enough people to do it. Just throw a coup and take over Michigan and make it to where they have complete control over Michigan. They just don't have everything in place to completely do it. But they're thinking about it. And as that border stays open, they're getting the manpower to do it, definitely. And those attacks also that's going on in New York, they're test runs. They sending the young bulls out there to do a test run to see how weak is the police force. What are their capabilities? What are their response time? And the older ones is just sitting back. Because they're going to be the second phase. They're going to be the second phase. It's the older ones. It's a military. It's military. This is militant. This is militant. And this Biden administration, it's not even an administration at all. It's not an administration. This is not an administration at all. This is a defamation of the United States. What it is, what it stands for, who it is on the world stage, right? And who it is socially, economically, politically. This is the defamation administration. We are defaming the legacy of the United States of America as a global influence and a powerful nation, right? Amongst all people. And the worst thing they ever did is they brought them to our communities to destroy Black America, definitely, because we've decided, to go in another direction as far as who we're going to vote for. They know this, and that's why they really did it. And that's racist and bigot, and it's prejudice, and they done it, and that's the thanks that you get. Because I'm never going to vote Democrat. The first time I ever voted, like I said in the previous videos that I've done, other videos that I've done, I should say, I voted for Trump. My first time in my life ever voting was for Trump's reelection. But I'm a theocratic. I believe in theocracy, and that's to believe in God's law above all. And I know the will of God is for me to obey the laws of a land as long as it doesn't cause me to sin. And then that's when we got a problem. Or it causes me to deny that Jesus is the Son of the living God. That's when we got a problem. That's when I will have to face persecution and execution if that's what it's going to be. But for the blood of Jesus Christ, I am willing to bleed out. But this right here, these young guys that's doing this, the young kids, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, that's a test run. That's a test run to test the law enforcement agencies across the United States. They all over the United States figuring out a way to do little things here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has got a role that's migrating over here right now. And they have been since Biden opened up the border. China, they had 100 police stations, illegal police stations set up around the United States of America. How many of those were taken down? Why is it that physical, able-bodied Asian people speaking nothing but Mandarin, and they could be lying, but it seemed like when I was watching, different news and different coverage on the border from various media outlets, they didn't look like they spoke anything but Mandarin, and they're not caring to speak English like they cared before when crossing over to the border or becoming U.S. citizens. They just care about coming to America. Why? It's an invasion. And it's going to be the fall of America, the great harlot, the new Babylon. That's what we are. And because of that, the Lord is allowing us to fall. To fall. Yep, to fall. And it's coming. Something bigger is finna happen that's going to be a big disrespect to Biden. That's going to happen to America. I almost want to say the worst, because it's been going on so much in America. I believe somebody going to try to blow up the Statue of Liberty because of what it stands for. Not because it's a statue, but what it stands for. I believe somebody is going, there's going to be immigrants involved. They're going to try to blow up the Liberty. Look where they're attacking at in New York. They're going crazy, making their little attacks in New York. So I believe that Lady Liberty is on the chopping block. I believe that's going to be the disrespect shown, and that call is coming from the countries that we are at war with. That call is already out there. And I think that would be the biggest disrespect ever because of what it stands for. Not because it's the statue and patriotism or nothing like that. I just believe what it stands for to American citizens, right? People who really love this country, right? I love this country, right? But it's not because of patriotism or, us winning wars and our soldiers are true. I love this country because this is a good place to live because of its freedom and liberty. And they fought for it, that's okay. A lot of times these wars wasn't fought for our personal interests neither. People need to quit lying about that. We know the Vietnam War was over heroin and whatever else they had going on that had to do with money. Because wasn't nothing over in Vietnam worth fighting for but heroin and whatever resources they had over there. So it was a money situation. It wasn't for my freedom. Because heroin is still prevalent here in this country to this day. So they wasn't fighting against the heroin. And during the time of the Vietnam War, heroin was over here the most. It's what destroyed the ghettos, our communities, aka our communities, aka the ghettos, the hoods. Heroin came in here and tore us up. And then they brought crack. And both times they was fighting with these countries, but it was over who controlled it and the way they wanted to bring it in and how much they wanted to bring it in. It wasn't about our personal interest. So that war was not them fighting for our freedom. And really the Civil War, both Civil Wars, right? The Civil Wars really wasn't fighting to abolish slavery. It was that people up north thought found different ways and different tacts of being able to enslave us than physical slavery. Make no mistake about that. Right? And they proved it. Because we're enslaved by so many things, they don't even need to whoop us no more. We, as black people, as minorities, as, we are even white people, right? The ones they call poor white trash, trailer trash, all that, rednecks and stuff. Those people that are supposed to be civilized and sophisticated, they don't care about them people down here with us, the moonshiners and the rednecks, and you see what I'm saying? They all consider us in one lump. Those who can be enslaved with something, they don't have to whoop us no more. They don't have to segregate us no more. We segregating ourselves. We whipping ourselves with sex, drugs, and violence. They knew that. They unleashed sex, drugs, and violence on us, and we've been enslaved ever since. Whoever they want to see without, they can see without, because they can get you hooked on sex, drugs, or violence through money, Mac, and murder. Through money, Mac, or murder. IG models Mac you. That make you spend on OnlyFans. They ain't censoring them. But now you go on YouTube like I am right now, and you get to talk about Jesus, and you get to making some sense out of some things and questioning some things that ain't right. They'll demonetize you like they demonetized me on this channel. But if they want to Mac you to enslave you with sex, drugs, or violence, they'll Mac you with OnlyFans or some twerking. They'll let that be prevalent on YouTube. They'll let that have their own channel, which is OnlyFans. They'll let the Instagram models, get as close as they can to being naked without giving them a strike to make them, under the guise of looking like they fair, and coming down and cracking down on stuff. But they not. See what I'm saying? Because it's money, Mac, and murder. If they want to enslave you, they'll just let you murder one another. And you get a federal RICO, and they'll take 10 to 12 of you down. And now they've just enslaved you with murder. Same way with money. They'll let you get all the way up there. You see what I'm saying? With the money. Somebody come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're a superstar, and they'll let them get in the algorithm, they'll let them get the publicity, they'll have enough influencers saying good stuff about them. Oh, come on, man! This stuff is done on purpose. All of a sudden, somebody reach out to Ice Spice that's famous enough to cause the influence, and now her numbers go way up. She just need one feature. Come on, man. Money, Mac, and murder. Sex, drugs, and violence. That's the new slave master. That's the new enslavement. So anyway, listen. We got a problem. They don't want to fix immigration, but it's going to come back against them. And it's going to come back, unfortunately, to the fall of America, because they don't understand that while they deceiving, they're being deceived. Right? The deceiver is always being deceived. Remember that. Listen, on that note, this is Street Church. I'm going to let the congregation out. God bless.